Hi everybody, I'm the greatest living inventor, and today we are doing my invention, rescue operation in Gaza tunnels, sword and sorcery, army ants. So I will write it down. Rescue operation in Gaza tunnels. And the subtitle is Sword and Sorcery, Army Ants. Okay, so all this is our subtitle and title, and the whole thing is dedicated to the memory of Paul Kessler. As you know, Paul Kessler was killed or even murdered by a pro-Palestinian demonstrator. Paul Kessler is Jewish, was Jewish. He was 69 years old. Okay, he was an old man. And this Palestinian came and attacked him with like a megaphone and a loudspeaker. And Paul Kessler was smashed in his head and fell back and later died from the wound. So this is a homicide. So thank you, Paul Kessler, and rest in peace. Okay, so now we will talk about this title, which is the whole invention started as something much smaller, which was a way to protect armored personnel carriers, because 1 week ago, a few soldiers died, a few Israeli soldiers died in Gaza from probably from a Cornet missile, but it's a laser guided missile that rides on the laser. But the more and more I read about the whole subject, which is kind of new to me because I'm usually my inventions are about saving all lives, but here we are in a situation where we need to pick the lives that we save. Okay, so in my opinion, and not just in my opinion, in many people's opinion, the world is in danger from radical Islam and terrorists. So this is supposed to give us, the good guys, an edge over these enemies. So I was thinking, first I was thinking only about the problem of how to protect an APC, an armored personnel carrier, from a rocket, and I invented something nice and very cheap, which I will tell you about later in the end of the lecture. But the more and more I got into this world of, you know, modern warfare, which is especially asymmetrical warfare, warfare against guerrillas or some people that you cannot use your whole force against. Okay, we cannot kill all the people in Gaza and so on. So they are not all army. Of course, they all hate us, but they are not all of them are not army, so we cannot, you know, destroy them like an army. So we need to pick the terrorists, the active terrorists. So I will explain how to do so, and very fast you will see that this is like a whole paradigm, a new paradigm of warfare. It's not that I like invented something completely new here, but I'm picking up and collecting things that are already available and putting them in this new context of how to rescue our kidnapped hostages. Okay, so we cannot do this by this old paradigm. Like if we think about even the name of this war, it's called, from the Israeli side, it's called Swords of Iron. So Swords of Iron. This is the name of the operation, but this is wrong. Like we shouldn't think about our might in these old terms of I'm coming with a big, heavy, you know, tank that costs, I don't know, $5 million, $10 million, and they shoot me with something that costs like $200,000 or something like this, and blow my tank to smithereens. So it doesn't make sense. You cannot even financially, you cannot hold against something like this. If they bring instead of a heavy, you know, airplane, they have like a little missile that takes down the helicopter or the airplane. It doesn't make sense. So everything needs to be based on cheap drones and so on. So and of course I'm not giving you anything new. You could see it in I'm not telling you anything new. You could see this in the Ukraine war. Okay, the Ukraine-Russian. Personally, I know it's not a popular opinion, but I don't think that Ukraine should have started this war. But never mind. I think Russia don't need to allow, you know, nuclear-based missiles on its doorstep. Like the United States also didn't allow this when they tried to put things like this in Cuba. Remember the Cuba, the Bay of Pigs and Cuba Missile Crisis, but we're not talking about this now. We're talking about the Ukraine and Russian war still is an example of how you cannot win with heavy tanks and so on against simple drone that carries a grenade. Okay, the drone with the RPG grenade can blow up your tank. and this one costs I don't know, like $2,000, the drone, and your tank costs like $10 million. So you cannot win like this. Okay, so Israel is fighting the war of the past. Again, Israel is very sophisticated in theory, but not in practice. I think Israel invented in the 1980s the first drones. I think it's called the Delilah, the missile that was guided from far away by remote control. But now we are fighting like we are in the Middle Ages with bringing vulnerable people inside something that is like a death trap and so on. So 1 week ago, I don't know how many soldiers, I think 7 or 9, a number like this of soldiers died from a missile. And this is after in 2014, we had an incident just like this, but now it was supposed to be with a better vehicle. The armed personnel carrier now was supposed to have the shield that we will talk about in the end of this lecture. So now I will tell you how I got to the idea, and then I will tell you the more specifics, the technicalities. Okay, so I'm just telling you what they are doing now. I mean, right now I saw, I'm sure most of you also saw the same thing. They have, I think it was in NBC News, they went to Gaza and they've shown that there are the tunnel shafts, okay? Like something like this. Okay, so this is here is the ground. This is sand ground or sand, and this is a tunnel shaft. And they said the soldiers, the commander there said that and this is like I don't know, like 60 centimeters, or let's write it 0.6 meters. And like a square, and here it's like the depth is like 13 meters, something like this. And so of course it's not drawn to scale, and terrorists come from below and pops out, shoots the soldiers or with a grenade or with a rocket, and dives back in and runs away to another tunnel. Okay, and what our soldiers currently do, they throw a grenade or something that explodes, something more powerful than a grenade, probably like a charge of explosives into the tunnel, okay, into the shaft, okay. This is the tunnel shaft, and the current solution throw in explosives. So we detonate this, we ruin this entry, and they use another entry, another exit to the tunnel. So this is very dumb, okay? We shouldn't do this. Why? Because imagine if you have like a mystery and you are doing an investigation. Your mystery is what is the map of the tunnels, where are the tunnels, where are the hostages, okay, the rescue operation. And okay, the rescue, when I say rescue, I mean hostages. Okay, so this is our, it shouldn't be our goal. I talked about it, like we should have treated, Israel should have treated this like a situation where one airplane was kidnapped, was taken over by terrorists, and we shouldn't have, you know, submit to succumb to terror. And this is, by the way, how we got to this situation, because of the Gilad Shalit bad deal in I don't remember how many years ago, but something like you can look it up. So many years ago, Netanyahu gave the terrorists what they wanted, like 1,000 of prisoners in return for one hostage. And now we got this, we got 100 live, more or less, hostages. The rest are dead. And this is like one airplane. And in the past, Israel did not, you know, gave in to terrorists what they wanted. We had, even Netanyahu took part of these operations, Netanyahu family and himself, in Sabena, where he forgot to change his shoes, and forgot to hide his pistol, and almost ruined the operation. And in Entebbe, where his brother panicked and shoot ahead of time and almost ruined the operation. And also in other cases, like in Maalot, it wasn't an airplane, it was a school with children, but Israel did not, not children, like teenagers, but Israel did not give in to terror. And because Netanyahu gave in to terror and gave them what they wanted in Shalit, so one Shalit, one Gilad Shalit gave us now 100 kidnapped hostages. If we give the terrorists what they want, like free all the hostage, all the prisoners, the Arab prisoners, then the Hamas will be encouraged to do this more. The crime families in Israel, the Arab Israelis, who are the part that are criminals, and they are very powerful. They take racket protection money, extort protection money and racketing from businesses in Israel and so on. They will arrange kidnaps for a ransom, and also the Hezbollah will do like another many instances like this. Okay, so we will have like instead one got us 100. So 100, if we cave into terror and not do the rescue, but just give them what they want, will give us 100, will give us 10,000. Okay, each one of them will be like a shalit, and it will be like, it will be all over Israel, and they will take them for money, kidnap them to Lebanon, and we cannot reach there. You see, Nasrallah is still alive, and we will be, Israel will be no more. Okay, so this is very, very serious. We shouldn't give them, the terrorists, what they want. We should do a rescue. So now we will talk about how to do a rescue, and in the process we will get to how to do a modern warfare. Okay, how we should do it, not how we do it now. Okay, this is dumb, this is stupid. We should do it smartly. Okay, so if we have a lead, okay, follow the lead, which is like a clue or a guide to investigate tunnels. Okay, so I'm erasing because I don't have room anymore, but our mystery that we want to solve is what's going on in the rest of the network of the tunnels. They are connected, or at least some of them are connected to others, because if each tunnel stands by itself, they are of no use to they are of little use to the terrorists. So they are connected. So I will explain how to do this. So I'm erasing everything. Okay, so we said we want to use drones. Okay, so we don't want to use PayPal. We use drones. Okay, so like the most obvious thing is like in Ukraine, you have a drone, it takes video photographs, or it takes a grenade and drops it on the enemy, but we can have a lot of other types of drones. Okay, so here I'm treating it as if like the metaphor you can think about it either way. I thought about it first like army ants. Okay, why army ants? Army ants can form bridges from their bodies, so their sisters, the other ants, can walk over these bridges. If they don't have a branch to walk on, or they need a bridge or something, they form this bridge from themselves. Okay, so one ant is holding on, and the other ant is going to the edge of this ant and holds on, and so on until they form a bridge. And then another ant, or all the other ants, can pass on this bridge. So we will think about it in this way, okay? Another way to think about what I'm about to tell you, the different types of drones, is like this game Dungeons and Dragons, but we are talking about it in general, and also Dungeons and Dragons is a trademark of a specific company, I think Wizards of the Coast. So we are talking about the general term, sword and sorcery. But every time I'm saying sword and sorcery, what I know about, I never played in these games, unfortunately, but I think it's cool, but I never got the chance. But I'm thinking about the game Dungeons and Dragons when I'm saying sword and sorcery, because this is the only type of example that I know. Okay, so sword and sorcery, which is like D&D. But of course, we are not using the term D&D or Dungeons and Dragons, because this is like a trademark of Wizards of the Coast. Okay, so in these games you have all these types of characters. Okay, you have a warrior and a wizard and a thief and so on. So we will see how we put this into practice in the drones. Okay, why do we not use soldiers? Obviously, because soldiers for Israel are very precious. Okay, this is not like the Hamas, which sacrifices human lives. We care about every soldier. We know his name. We talk about him. We show his pictures. We talk to well, not personally, but we bring the family and to the TV and interview them and so on. So we can use a lot of drones in the price, so-called, of one soldier. For example, see in Gilad Shalit, which we talked about, what is the price of one soldier for Israel. For the Hamas, it's totally the opposite. Okay, so I'll talk about what kind of drones we have, and I will split it, each one, into these two metaphors. How much time did I talk? Okay, half an hour. So I will try to do it fast because I didn't even start the actual invention. Okay, so basically I just want to give you one final inspiration that was used in this invention, and the inspiration is like an aircraft carrier for drones. Aircraft carrier for drones. Okay, so this is very important. This is the heart of the invention, so-called. Well, all the parts are important, but this is a crucial part because it's like there are two aircraft carriers that America gave us, the United States gave Israel, well, did not give Israel, but they are protecting Israel right now. So allocated for our help. So thank you. So this like gave me the idea that the APC, when I'm saying APC, it's armored personnel carrier. Okay, so it's like a tank, but without the turret of the gun, the big gun of the tank. So you have like a tank, but well, it looks like a UFO. But so I don't know how to paint it, how to draw it. But this is like a tank, but it doesn't have this part. Okay, so it just has soldiers inside, and in our case, it will be like it will contain drones. Okay, many little drones. Okay, quadcopter. Drones, UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle, and this is many drones are inside of this. It's not a ship because it's on the ground, but it's like on this platform. Okay, so this now becomes, instead of a bus for an armored bus for soldiers, it becomes a carrier for many drones. Okay, so this is like the concept, and it's not, this is also not a new concept. It's never been done, but it's not something that I invented. There is something you can see in Wikipedia. It's called UXV combatant. UXV combatant. Which is it's made by it's a concept warship by I didn't write the name, but it's some British company, okay, and they designed this aircraft carrier for drones, but we don't do it in the sea, okay. This is not a ship. We are doing this on land and in small scale, okay. They are planning to replace aircrafts. We are not planning to replace aircrafts. We are planning to replace soldiers. Okay. So now we will go to the other metaphors and explain how they become reality. So later, when I will say this is like our queen, Okay, so this is our queen. The main important part is this one. All the others are small drones. Okay, so so now we will talk about types of army ants, or types of sword and sorcery characters. Okay, S and S is sword and sorcery. Okay, so these are the two metaphors that we had, army ants and sword and sorcery. Okay, so first we have the most important job, which is the repeater ant. I didn't know how to refer to this in this metaphor, so I just called it elf, because like the elf gives us more range where he can shoot with the bow and arrow, so it's a long range, so this gives us the long range, okay? So this is like the bridge that the ants do. So let's say this is the elf. And the repeater ant extends range and gives us backup to the communications. Okay, what do I mean? This is communication. What do I mean? If we have, for example, the ground, okay, this is the ground, and here is the shaft, and this is the tunnel, and let's say here is a door, and here is another tunnel. Okay, so we have, there could be another shaft, another tunnel, and so on. So we don't know how many levels they have. So let's use a little color. So if we have the elf, let's make him in, I don't know what color, let's say in green. Let's do it in purple. So the elf, the purple, will be, and we have, sorry, we have our queen. Okay, this is like the APC. Our tank, so-called, our base. Let's call this base instead of queen. It's like the queen of the ants, okay? They all take care of the queen. But let's call it base camp. And this base sends one repeater ant to the entrance of the tunnel. Then it goes down the shaft after we open the shaft. Then it reaches here. And then we send another repeater, okay, to here. And each time we are going out of range, we are sending another repeater, okay? So this communicates to this communicates to this communicates to the base, and we can go on like this forever and keep communications to and from our soldiers, okay? So this is our network of long range communications, and the backup is if we have another base, okay, so if this one gets damaged, then the other one can communicate with the drones, the repeater drones, and it can also put here more than one drone, okay? This can be like a few here, and a few here, and a few here, and so they are cheap. Okay. So if one gets damaged, all the communication goes on through the other repeaters. Okay. And of course, it's encrypted, and it's protected against electronic warfare, and so on. Okay. To the best of our abilities, which is better than the abilities of the terrorists in Gaza, at least today. Okay, so the other kind of, the second type of soldier that we have, another type of character, is the scout, okay? The scout, or let's talk first about the spellcaster. Okay, so let's call this spellcaster. Which is like our wizard, okay? If we are talking about sword and sorcery, this is our wizard, and this puts them to sleep. Okay, so this is this kind of drone has gas, like a sleeping gas or something like this, that makes the enemy incapacitated. It doesn't have to kill them. If we want to be humane, we can put a gas that only puts them to sleep. And then it also helps our rescue mission, because if they try to do a human shield with the hostages, then it only puts them to sleep. So incapacitating agent. Canister of incapacitating agent. And you can see in Wikipedia, there are lots of incapacitating agents, and you could also see this in other hostage situations. For example, when Russia had the situation in the Opera House in Moscow, they used the incapacitating agent, and they used something quite severe, so little of the hostages got killed, but they managed to rescue the other ones, and they saved the country from a wave of terrorism. They did not submit to terror. Okay. So now let's see another kind of, so the wizard, we can draw each one, but I'm not going to, I'm just going to draw this one. So sleep would be like, I don't know, like in blue. Okay, so the spellcaster, wizard, we send him down the tunnel. Then we don't need it here. It's like just one of them, and it spreads sleep all around in the tunnel here. And after everybody is asleep here, we can walk. Okay, we can send the other kinds of soldiers, other kinds of drones. Okay, so another kind of soldier that we have, another drone, is the scout. Okay, so the scout, I'm erasing this because I don't have room. Okay, so this is a third kind of drone, the scout ant, so-called, because all of them, we think about them like kinds of ants. It has a camera and a flashlight. And you can also use a sonar. Okay. Oh, and like if you want like what kind of thing it is, it's like what kind of character. It can be like your thief. Okay, it's going in stealthily. It's not. It cannot kill anyone. It just grabs information, which is the most valuable thing for us, and this is why it's like the thief. So it can also use a sonar, like if there is dark. You need to take into account that they don't light this for us. They have light, but they probably shut it down when we get in. So all of this is dark. It's like a dungeon in these games. So you should watch, there is a video in YouTube, echolocation, how drones can hear walls. Okay, this YouTube video is by the University of München in Germany. TU München. Okay. Okay, so this you cannot put a real radar on a drone because it's flying and it needs to be light and small, but you can put a sonar, and they show in this video exactly how and how it maps, like even they give them mathematical formulas, and it can be done to put a sound source and 4 microphones, and the drone can locate where it is, where are the walls, so of the tunnel. Okay, and the thief also can, after it's done with the mapping, it can also map with stick lights. Along the walls. Okay, stick light, you know, it's like a small canister which is has this chemical reaction in it which shines. It gives like phosphorus or something. It gives light. Okay, so this is another kind of the scout, another kind of soldier. Now let's go to the main soldiers. So again, the scout, I'm not drawing, but it's clear. Like it goes down and it maps everything and gives us information. When I'm saying giving us information, it means to the person that operates it. Okay, so it can work by itself, but it can also send signals. Let's say this is the thief. So it sends signals to here, and this sends signals to here, and this sends signals to here, and this sends signals to the command center, which is in Israel, or at least outside of the fighting area. Okay, so even if we are surrounding Gaza right now, then we don't need to be inside Gaza. Okay, inside Gaza, it can be like being inside a volcano, like everything is booby-trapped and everything you can have, they are prepared for this. So you can go, you can avoid entering at all. You can just enter with this non-human base and all these drones which are also non-human and not get in danger. Okay, so the next we send the warrior ant. Okay, the warrior ant is, you can guess, it kills people. So it can use either one of two options. Okay, this is if we have a pocket of resistance. So we cannot do this with the thief. We cannot do this. Maybe the wizard tackles a terrorist that has a gas mask or something. So we need something else, something more deadly. So this is the warrior. So it can either use a suicide drone. Suicide. In Israel, suicide drones are called Rotem. And it can carry a grenade. Like, for example, a bouncing Betty S mine. we don't want a normal grenade because we don't want the explosion to collapse the tunnel. Remember, we want to keep this, to follow this lead. Okay, in Hebrew, it's like literally the expression is you have the end of a thread, and you want this to continue along the thread to see where it goes. So we need this lead, that this clue or this guide that we are holding, and we don't want to ruin this. So we want this flechette weapon to kill the enemy, but not to kill the tunnel. Okay, so I'm not explaining what it is. If you want to see what it is very clearly, you should see the movie with the Schwarzenegger, Eraser. Okay, in Eraser, okay, very cool movie, by the way. You can see this kind of thing. It throws sharpenel all over, and one of them gets in Schwarzenegger's hand. Okay, so this is one option. The other option is a machine pistol. Okay, this is, I don't know how good the drones are, so, sorry. If they can operate a machine pistol, clearly it's better because you can kill the target that you want. But maybe it's too much to ask for a drone. If it's not too much, then this is an automatic, like a submachine gun, but small. And we have a micro Uzi for this, and you also have a Glock switch. And other kinds. And of course, you need a camera if you're operating something that needs precision. So it's better to have just in case also a grenade, like bouncing Betty. Okay, so I'm erasing this. Now we are going to the next kind. Okay, so the next kind is, I don't remember the number, maybe it's 5. It's not important. The worker ant. The worker ant, again, this is the next stage, like the thief gave us, this gave us the communication, the repeater, the wizard cleared the way from light enemies, or hostages, the warrior cleared the way from serious enemies like terrorists. And now we are doing the actual work. Okay, what we want to do is open all these doors. It's a wall, it's a door, but we want to open it. It cannot be really a wall, it's actually some kind of door, because they want to open it sometime and escape. So the worker ant, which the metaphor is like a miner or a dwarf. Because it digs into the ground or the door, does one of two things. It either, to open the door, it either uses squirting acid, So we use some kind of acid. It should be like hydrochloric acid or sulfuric acid. Some kind of strong acid. And we squirt it on the door. So if you have some plastic container, which can, in Hebrew it's called spritz, like in German, to shoot the liquid on the door in bursts and to squirt it on the door until it melts the door, or at least the mechanism that holds the door. This is one option. This is the more gentle option. The other option, which is the most forceful, is to carry the worker, the miner, can carry an RPG-like grenade or C4, a plastic explosive. RPG head without the rocket, or C4, plastic explosive. Okay, so in C4 you can, it's like plasticine, and you need to detonate it electrically, which a drone can be programmed to do. Okay, so in general, I suggest that each drone will be a specialist, but it can be, if you have in this base even one person, then you can attach a different kind of additives, armaments to the drone, so it becomes a multifunction. But if you don't want to risk even one person in this, today we risk like a whole bunch of people. But if you want to be without people, then you need to prepare in advance all these kinds of drones. Okay. So again, the worker blasts off the doors and lets us go in and do the process again. Communication, sleeping, thief, seeing and acquiring the map, and the warrior, and then worker again. It's like a circle. Okay, it's again and again. Okay, what happens here? Like, this is very vulnerable until now. We need to protect this base because it's really, really important. Okay, let's see how we do this. It's not crucial because we have another base and another base, but we need at least to try to protect it because it's a lot more precious than each drone. Okay. So if I didn't say this already, this is where the drones recharge and resupply. I don't know if it's double P, but anyway, this is where we give our drones electricity. Like, if this drone got tired from being in the air, it floats in the air, then it goes to the base and another one comes instead. Or it's better to do it in the other order. Another one comes to relieve him, and this one goes to sleep, to recharge, and so on. Okay. And again, you can make a simple mechanism that with inductance recharge without cables and so on, or you can put a soldier here that will do it. It's your choice. Okay, but now let's talk about how to protect our base, because right now it's still vulnerable. So we have special soldier for this. I'm just looking how much time. Okay, 1 hour and 6 minutes. I hope it's still recording. Yeah, it's still recording. So now we are going to talk about the males. If you want to talk about, this is the metaphor for being close to the queen. This is our queen. Queen of the ants. So all the male ants, the ones with the wings, want to protect it. They are here in the air and they encircle the queen and they want to protect the queen, so-called. In nature, the males want to do something else, but here we are giving them the job of protecting, guarding. Okay, these are our guards. Guards of the Queen of Ants. Okay, so another metaphor is like these are the knights. If we were in a game of sword and sorcery, these are the knights. Like if you, I've read once the Dragon Lance books. So there is a knight, Strom, I think, who is, is very noble. So he's like protecting the queen. In the books, this is the Queen of Darkness, but here we are the good guys. Okay. So these are, in a way, they are anti-drones drones. Because drone. Because, but we have many like this. Well, not many, but a few all the time in the air. Because what's our main worry? That the same way that our drones can get inside here and recharge, then the enemy's drones can get inside here and use explosive to ruin our whole base. So we don't want this to happen. So we have here flying around and protecting our knights. Okay. So again, this is the queen. And if you want to give it a metaphor from, again, from the games, then this is our healer or cleric. Okay, Queen of Ants or a cleric or a healer, because we cannot actually fix broken drones. They die, and they should have some suicide explosion within them to destroy the technology. But if they are just tired, then the healer can, give them more strength or bless them and so on. So this is like the cleric. And again, this is an APC. Armored personnel carrier that was converted to serve as a drone carrier plus base to recharge and resupply. Okay. So, and another job for the base. So this is one job. Oh, for the base. Another job for the base is to serve as a communication repeater to human operator. Okay, what do I mean? Again, the person that is in Israel, or at least outside of the immediate war zone. Okay, a person that sits with the joysticks and operates in turn each drone, or better yet, a few people that operate drone. And of course, it's like reincarnation. When one of them goes to sleep, his soul, his human operator, goes into another drone. Okay, so it's like an avatar in the Avatar movie, or in Indian mythology, Hindu. Okay, so that was like all the metaphors that I had. Now let's talk about technological things, which is more like actually what do we do. And I will not, I will maybe also mention the drones, but I will mainly talk about how to protect our queen, or our base, or our cleric healer. Okay, we want to protect this. And this is what I meant when I said that at the end of the lecture, I will describe what was initially the motivation for the whole thing, that I started to look into what to do against a Cornet missile, or another anti-tank missile. So let's see what we can do cheaply, because if you want an expensive solution, that by the way didn't work very well 1 week ago, then you can use a solution that costs almost $1 million. But my solution costs much less, and it's a lot better than having nothing. Okay, so let's mention this, although I think that was what I talked about so far was the more important part. So this is why I switched the order of things and talked about the main view of the whole operation before I got into the specific technicalities of how to protect the base. Okay, so I'll just drink a little and I'll explain. Okay, so the first thing that I will do is explain very briefly what we use today, what the IDF use against not drones, sorry, against anti-tank missiles. Expensive, professional, solutions today. Used against anti-tank rockets or missiles. Okay, and so why do I say expensive? It's not that I'm making a joke. It's because of this word, used. Because they are expensive, the IDF doesn't always use them. So if they don't have money to protect all the vehicles, then what good does it make to the soldier? Like, he can either have nothing or something very good to protect him, instead of having something which is like in between. Like, it's not the best, but it's a lot more than nothing. Okay. And of course, like in the hostages, if you have some, if the enemy thinks you have some protection, that maybe is deterred from trying because he can get killed in the process. While if the enemy thinks that you have nothing against him and you're just a sitting duck, then he comes and tries again and again. Okay. So what we have today is called, there are two systems. One is used more, it's more expensive, it's called Trophy. I'm not writing everything, you can look in Wikipedia. Countermeasure. So you can see all the things that I'm saying in Wikipedia. I don't want to write everything. In Israel, in Hebrew, it's called the windbreaker. Okay, and it's cost about 900,000 US dollars. I'm not writing US because it's clearly all, I'm only talking about US dollars. So 900,000 US dollars. And okay, this is an active protection system, APS. Okay, when we say this word APS or active protection system, or they called it also hard kill, it means that it doesn't just wait for the tank or the APC, the armored personnel carrier, to get shot. It instead the tank shoots a small something that explodes, which hits the rocket that is coming to kill the tank. Okay, so it's like intercepting the attack. Okay, like if someone comes to attack us, then maybe like it's like we kick him when he's in the middle of trying to kick us, and so he falls or something like this. So this is manufactured by Rafael Advanced Defense Systems. For Merkava tank, and for Namer, which is Hebrew for Leopard, and I'm not sure what it's called, in English. It's like an APC, like Armored Personnel Carrier, on the same chassis as Merkava tank. Okay, so it's like a Merkava tank without the ability to be a tank, to shoot. It's just used to drive around the soldiers. An APC, Armored Personnel Carrier. Okay, so whenever I say Namer, Merkava tank, Namer APC, okay, so it's the same chassis. Same chassis. No, chassis is like this. It's the same skeleton, the same base of the truck, so-called. Okay, so this is one system that is used. You can see videos about it. It's very, very impressive. It has some grid, like matrix, of small, very small exploding charges that shoot. It like shoots all this at once. It uses a radar. It has 4 radars around the tank or the APC, and it's like it doesn't work every time because you saw what happened last week, but it works almost every time. Okay. The other system is called the Iron Fist. So again, the trophy was, it looks like something like this. And it shoots many small bullets. And the rocket is coming and it explodes. Okay, something like this. And then the whole system like recharges. It slides down and slides back up, field recharged. Okay. The other system that Israel uses is called Iron Fist. Again, countermeasure. If you want to see in Wikipedia, it's called in Hebrew Chetz Dorban, or which means in Hebrew porcupine arrow. And this is like, also it's an APS, active active protection system. And again, it means that it is shooting something, this time something towards the coming missile. Okay, so we have our tank, and the tank is shooting a small something that looks like a porcupine, or like something that spreads. And the big missile is coming, and it explodes. Okay, so it doesn't have to be head on, it can be like here, and it will still explode, because it's these systems are very sophisticated, so they calculate exactly when this will be close to the missile. So even if it is here, it will still explode. Okay. But it's not a lot of pallets, it's just one anti missile. Okay, this is done by Israel Military Industries. And it costs $350,000. About. So it's hard to get the prices of these things. You need to like fish them out of the internet in all kinds of semi-official places. Okay, and this is made for a D9 bulldozer and for a 10 APC. Also, it's not only IMI, it's also by Elbit. Okay, I once worked in Elbit after the army, so for like 1 year, and this is for a D9 bulldozer and a TAM. for D9 and for APC ATAM. Okay, armored personnel carrier, like a tank without the tank. Okay, so again, it uses a fire control radar. I'm sorry, the trophy uses 4 panels of flat panels of fire control radar. This one uses active electronically scanned array sensor plus optional infrared detector. So when we say, I'm erasing this, so remember the prices, they are very big. Also the 900,000 of the previous one. So of course, like human lives are very precious to Israel, but we only have a certain budget and we cannot allow ourselves to occupy, to equip every vehicle with the best protection. We need to make some compromise, and I'm giving you a way to get a cheap, good compromise, very cheap, which is much more than nothing. Because in the current system, some vehicles are left unprotected. Okay, so at first I thought of using the exact same thing to manufacture the exact same thing. So, but if you look at the active, let me say differently. Let's start with the, the meat and potatoes, like the main part. Okay, so the main part is how you shoot physically, how you shoot the protection that you want to shoot. Okay, so the actual thing that I want to shoot is a shotgun. Okay, so you have, but you will see it's much more sophisticated than a shotgun, and also it becomes automatic in the process that I use. So please bear with me. It's not just someone getting out and shooting a shotgun. It's much more elaborate, but more sophisticated and much safer and more effective. So you have a shotgun. My cheap solution. Okay, this is like the poor man's APS, active protection system. So the first part is Atchison. Let's call it shotgun. Atchison A812. Okay, this costs $3,250. Okay, so you can see movies about it also in YouTube. AA-12 fully automatic shotgun, 3 exclamation marks, by FPS Russia. Okay, this is in YouTube. So see this in YouTube, in this YouTube channel. It's like you have to see this video. It's really funny and cool. Okay, so I'm just describing this without writing. This shoots 8 rounds in box magazine, or 20 or 32 in drum magazine. You will see this in the video. It weighs 7.3 kilograms. And that's it. It's a very, very good weapon. And of course, because it's a shotgun, it shoots a spread of pallets, which has a lot of chance of hitting the coming missile. And if it didn't, then it's automatic shotgun. Okay, it shoots automatically another round and another round. And if you shoot like 3 or 4, then you have a lot of pallets in the air. Some website compared this to this scene in the movie Predator, again with Schwarzenegger, where they shoot in every weapon that they have, like the minigun and everything that they have. So it's like a wall of fire against what's coming. Okay, so this is one. The second part is I will call it a tripod, but it's much more, it's more like a turret, okay? So, the turret is called Smash Hopper. It cost $1,000 about. I'm sorry. It costs $10,000 about. It weighs 15 kilos, 15 kilos. It's a portable remote weapon turret. Okay, so you have some kind of tripod. This is a rotating base. You have an arm. And you have the weapon. And which is shooting. And this can change the angle in both axes, like I don't know if it's panning or tilting, but it can do everything. Okay. So all this is this line. And this is an Israeli manufacturer. They are sitting near Haifa, near where I live, in Yagur. Okay, so it's a kibbutz near Haifa. So, and it has a remote control. And you can see in the video that it has this screen. And on the screen, you have like a person, two people, soldiers in a vehicle. And on the roof of the vehicle is the system. And one of them looks like he's playing with his phone, cellular phone, but it's actually the remote control. And he has, if there is a person coming, then he has this person showing on the screen with the bounding box. And it's like these systems that drive a car automatically, like Mobileye. I'm not sure how to write this, but there is also an Israeli company, Mobileye. At least the founder is Israeli. Shashua, I think is called, the person. And it looks like this. So it's like it recognizes what to shoot. It can almost do this automatically. Okay. So this is like an automatic gun. Okay. We also can put on such a thing, instead of the shotgun, or in addition to the shotgun, okay, we can combine two of these. And use Milcore MGL. Or grenade thrower. Launcher, sorry. Multiple grenade launcher. The acronym is, the abbreviation is MGL, and it's done by Milcore MGL. Okay, multiple grenade launcher. Multiple grenade launcher. Okay, so this is like a revolver, like from the old westerns, the revolver, but a pistol with 6 rounds, but of grenades. Okay, also very cool. It shoots 40 millimeters grenades, and it's like a revolver. And it costs 15,000 US dollars. Okay, so I'm summing this up. I'm not good in math, so I hope I'm not making a mistake. This is like 28. 250. Okay, so it's around $30,000 and even less, and it lets us have all the brains of the system and all the sensors, which are very cheap. Oh, sorry, one more thing that is not cheap. I'm sorry, one more thing that is not cheap. The only component that is not cheap other than the actual shooting stuff is the eye. Okay, we want to protect from a laser guided missile, not just from that, but also from that, from a Cornet missile. And the Cornet missile, okay, Cornet is our, what I started from. This is what killed all the soldiers 7 days ago, 1 week ago. So 9M133. This is not G, it's 9. 9M133 Cornet. You can see in Wikipedia. It's a Russian man-portable, which means it can be carried on your back, anti-tank guided missile, and it rides on a laser beam. It's laser beam riding. Okay, so our mission is to activate all this when you see a laser, and we need to know exactly where the laser came from, or if not exactly, approximately where, in which angle the laser came from. So this is what we will do now. And the enemy can shoot it from a range of 100 meters to 5,000 meters. And if it's a better version, it can be even 8,000 or 10,000 meters range. So remember the laser, because this is what we are addressing now. So I pre-calculated, it's not below 30,000. We also need the magic component, which is called ultra narrow band pass filter. I will write it down because it's complicated. Ultra narrow, because why do we need this? Like, why can't we just have heat sensors like infrared sensors? Because we can be shot during the daytime. And during the daytime, everything is in Gaza is hot. The sun is shining, there is shade, there is sunlight, there is somebody can light with a torch, flashlight in the night. We need something that is more professional to actually make sure, or pretty sure, that it's a laser of a weapon and not just light or heat. So ultra narrow band pass. filter. Single band. Single band. $820 to 1600, sorry, yes, 1650 nanometers. Okay, this is the wavelength of more professional things. Like if somebody comes with a laser pointer, it will not be this wavelength, so they cannot confuse us. This cost 2,500. $2,500 US dollars, which is total nanometers wavelength. In total price, total cost, let's try to calculate. 750 and here 3 plus 10, 13 plus 15, it's 28, plus 2, it's 30. Okay, so I'm really bad at math, so I hope I got it right, but it's about 30,000 in total. And we have very small additions, which are like buying an Arduino, which I will explain, buying a few meters of fiber optics, which will I explain now, and cheap sensors and so on. But these are the main components, and this is the main cost. Okay, and you see it's like if this is 30,000 and the competing system was the cheap one was about I don't remember where I wrote exactly the prices, but it was like 10 times more or 20 times or 30 times more, okay, in the price. So it's just, this is a fraction of the price of the competition. Okay, the cheap one was 350,000. So this is like 10%, less than 10%. And the expensive one was 900,000. So this is like a third of 10%. So it's like 3%, something like this, 3 or 4% of the cost of the big one. So if the army can protect many more soldiers in the cost of, and of course everything is statistic, like last week even the big system was did not work, but if this works a lot of the times, then it saves a lot of soldiers, because the alternative is that they don't have anything because it's too expensive. Okay, remember the enemy is working in a paradigm of a lot of cheap weapons, and we are working in a paradigm of right now in the old school of very, very expensive weapons, and we lose. So we need to shift paradigm to a new paradigm. Okay, so now I will explain the brain of what makes this work. I will erase everything and I will explain. Okay, explaining now for almost 2 hours, 1 hour 56 minutes and a half. I will erase everything and I will explain shortly. I hope to make it in 2 hours. Sorry. Okay, so brains plus eyes of chip solution. Okay, so the brain is as usual Arduino. I'm saying as usual because if you watched my previous video about how to eliminate, how to destroy the Hamas tunnels in Gaza from the air without sacrificing soldiers, then you have you remember then we used Arduino. So this is a microcontroller that is very it is the most popular for cheap electronic do-it-yourself things. Okay, so Arduino is not fast enough to do a phased array. Okay, what is a phased array? Okay, it's not fast enough. I'm erasing fast array. Phased array it's very interesting, but I don't have time to describe it. You can see in videos, really nice videos in YouTube. This is how the professional radars work. Okay, they have an array, like a line of antennas and or detectors, and they can know they can broadcast and also receive the waves. It can be the waves of the sound or the waves of the electromagnetic waves if they have a microwave radar and so on, in any direction that they want without changing anything physically. It's not like the old radars that needed to rotate. Okay, nothing rotates inside. It just sits in the same way, and it like operates in this antenna, and after this antenna, and this antenna, and this antenna, and the waves accumulate to make a wave towards here. If you would shoot them all in the same time, like all together, then the waves would be forward. But if you shoot them like this one and this one and this one, this one, it will shoot to the side. So this is the main idea, and they show you in the videos, but we cannot do it, unfortunately, because we don't have much processing power. So it will take us forever, and the tank will be destroyed. The armored personnel carrier will be destroyed. So okay, but I found another video which is called it's in the website hackaday.com. Okay, this is an alternative in hackaday.com. This is guys from MIT, so it's like serious, and it's by Gregory L. Charvat and another person, Gregory L. And also his friend, and it's called Build a Phased Array Radar in Your Garage. Build a phased array radar in your garage that can see through walls. And of course, it's very interesting on its own, but we are not interested in seeing through walls here. And of course, we cannot see in the ground in the depth that we need. What we need is if we are using switches, then we can support 10 or 20 or even 40 frames per second, which is fast enough for what we need, because we need about 1 second. If we can shoot towards the missile in 1 second, then we are fine. If we have 1/20th of, or even 1/10th of a second to think where the missile is coming from, then we're good, okay? Because we can use the rest of the second to shoot, and it's enough, okay? Because everything is automatic. There is no human in the loop. Okay, so I'm just writing the conclusion of this. You can see the video, but they say there that, or write, I don't remember, maybe it's written, using switches this is the title. Using switches can support ten or 20 or even 40 frames per second. Okay, so this is fast enough for us. They use microwave, but we will use for the same thing another kind of wave in the wavelength that we need. I don't remember how many nanometers. I think it was 1000 in a Cornet missile. But we will use something equivalent in our wavelength, and it will be okay. Okay, so this is like building a real radar with the technique that we do have. So it's good. Okay, but let's say that it's not good. Let's say that we cannot depend on this. Maybe they got it wrong. We need some backup. I'm erasing everything. Okay, so the brains, we saw that it is good. Like I don't remember how much money it costs an Arduino, but it's like very cheap. People buy it for their children, like teenagers. So it's not expensive. I checked it in the last video. You can see how much an Arduino costs. It's not much at all. It's hundreds of dollars. But let's say that it maybe it's not enough for the actual radar, a phased array radar. So let's see another way that we can do it. Remember that we have, I hope I draw it reasonably well, like we have our vehicle, APC, armored personnel. So, personnel carrier. And it has like a tank, chains, and it has some volume. And okay, I'm sorry for my lack of ability to draw, but let's say we have here the turret. Okay, so we have the 3 legs and the turret and the arm and the shotgun. Okay, everything that we need to shoot, and it can rotate automatically. Now let's say that we have, remember we have this lens. Okay, let's draw it in red. we have filter. Okay, this makes sure that it's an actual laser, military grade laser. Remember the filter before, which was I don't remember how much money, it was the last one. So this is the laser filter, and we need, okay, it's actually like a lens. And let's say we want detectors all around here. Like if a terrorist is pointing his laser towards us and he hits here or here or here, we want to know this, okay? Usually they point to the upper part of the vehicle, but wherever they point, we want a detector. So the sensors are very cheap. Okay, this is the filter. This is expensive. We have one filter. But the sensors can be very cheap, a few dollars. So we have a sensor here. Sensor, 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 sensor. But we can do it even cheaper. Okay, how come? We can do, we can use fiber optics. Okay, so let's say we don't have, let's do this in pink. Can you see pink? Yeah. So let's say we don't use actual sensors for this. Let's use fiber optics. Fiber optics are like a wire or a tube of that can get light through it. Okay, it can bend and it can the light goes inside, like water goes in a pipe. So if we have here a fiber optic, here fiber optic, here, and they are very cheap. It's like a meter, 1 meter can be a few dollars, like $5, so or less. So it's like you can use however you as much as you want. Okay, so we wire them into the lens. Okay, and if a laser is hitting here, so the laser is from a distance, so it's like shaking a little. So it's like one fraction of a second is here, another is here. It's like there are chances that if we put a few sensors, then it will hit one of them. So if it hits one of them, it goes through the filter, okay? And if it passes the filter, okay, after the filter, okay, so if it goes after the filter, we have, I don't know how to draw it, but this is the Arduino. Okay, so think about it. It's like these are the eyes, and this is the brain. So this is like the iris, or I don't know what the name of the actual part of the eye is. but it cannot understand what it is seeing. And this is like the actual brain. And if the brain understands that for some place it got in this part, it got a positive input, then it knows that from this side it has a rocket and it's time to point this in this direction and shoot. Okay, so of course you need good programming, and also you can combine it with the sensors, like you can put light sensors. Can you see if I'm writing in this color? Not so much. I will write it in another color. So light and heat is infrared sensors, which are very cheap. So you can have, you know, a suspicion that something is coming from here, and the sensors will tell you, again, it can be with to connect them to a few of them together, and they don't need this filter. And to know, okay, we got both heat and laser, or we got, you can play with it, and you know, if the light from the fire of the rocket or the sound, or all these components are very, very, very cheap. So this is expensive, but you only need one. So you can put a lot of them on your vehicle, and the more you put, the more resolution you have for where it came from. If it was activated from here, then it's from the front. So all this is if the radar doesn't work. Okay, so this is plan B, which of course the real systems don't have plan B because they are very expensive. So if something happens, I don't want to give ideas to the terrorists, but if something happens to the radar, then they don't work very well. But if this system actually has a lot of cheap sensors, a lot of eyes, then something will detect, and you can compare. Here comes to play the programming. Okay, the programming needs to be smart, or another option, you can put, if you have a lot of personnel, and remember, this is not just a drone, this is our queen. This is very important. So you can put a few soldiers that will look around, okay, because you're actually protecting a lot of drones. So it's worthwhile. So you don't have a lot of queens. On a certain area, like I think you should have like 3 queens. So if you, just for backup, it's enough 1, but just for backup. So if you have like on each one, a soldier that looks to this side, a soldier that looks to that side and that side, so you have, I don't know, like 12 soldiers protecting the queen. It's very worthwhile, okay? So you can even have visual input, which today you don't have. So if there is a terrorist sending like this with an RPG, and again, my system will detect it because of the light of the RPG and the sound. You can put the sound sensors, and you can the fire gives heat of the rocket. But again, if you have enough bandwidth and the communication is good, because it's not like far away, it's here in Gaza. So if you have good communications, you can have a video and in real time and see that someone is standing like this 100 meters from you with an RPG or a rocket, and give this an indication to shoot here. Okay, so, and again, this can work to some scale in an automatic capacity, so it can be like without a person in the loop. So it can be like a car driving automatically and stopping, braking the brakes, not to run over a person. So this can be programmed that, okay, now we don't have any of our soldiers, Israeli soldiers around, so any person that you see there is a terrorist. So if you see a person, shoot him. Okay, so, and of course, if someone points a laser towards our vehicle, then also is a terrorist. Nobody should point a laser on our vehicle. So, so basically, I think I went through all these main issues. Like maybe I forgot one point or something. The sensors, the actual sensors, I tried to make sure they work in forum.arduino.cc. This is infrared, okay, infrared. Sensors. DS 8, I'm sorry, 1820 and LM35. Okay, and each has its own advantages and disadvantages, but together they are good for about 100 meters. Okay, this is thanks to the person who answered the question is TKBYD. And it was in 2011. So maybe today there is something even better than this. But, you know, more than 10 years ago, there was a solution for 100 meters. Okay, so after saying all this and thinking about all this, I found out today that they have something that is similar to this, but they don't use it like this at all. Okay, so let me explain what I mean. There is something called katlanit, or in Hebrew, which means deadly, the female form of deadly, or in English it's called Samson, okay, like the prophet Samson, the hero from the Bible, Samson. And this is something that Raphael produces. And let me talk about it for a minute, because it's not what we need. What we have is, you know, similar to this, but again, it has its advantages and disadvantages. And again, if you have all the parts, you can play with them and choose whatever you want. So I'm erasing this and explaining in short what they have today, but it's not used like this at all. It's not used like a protection against anti-tank missiles. It's used just to kill terrorists that are on foot. I'm leaving this because, well, never mind, I will draw it again. Okay, so by the way, the person TKBYD, which in 2011 answered that question, the question was temperature measurement at long distance, tilde at about 100 meters. Okay, so let's call it something similar is used today but for a different goal. Okay, so what do we mean? We mean mini Samson, which costs $110,000. Again, about, because it's very hard to find what the price is, it's about this price, as far as I know. Okay, what it is, it's for both the, I'm sorry, it's for the Namer, for the Leopard, the armored personnel carrier, APC, that is based on the Merkava, the tank chassis. Okay, so it's for this vehicle, and it's basically very, very sturdy and strong looking. It looks like a tank, okay, but it's not a tank. It's called, in Hebrew, it's called Katlanit. And which means deadly, and it's basically remote controlled weapon station. Okay, which abbreviates to WCWS. I'm sorry, RCWS. And this is like what I built, designed, but professional. So it's a lot more expensive, and it's a lot, it has not a shotgun, but it has, mine had an automatic shotgun, which is better, it spreads pallets. Here it has, it's for a different goal. So it has a 0.50 Browning machine gun. 0.50 Browning machine gun. Or a rocket launcher, a 40mm rocket launcher, or a light weapon like something that shoots like an M16 or a Kalashnikov, like something like that. But it doesn't like has a, I'm sorry, it's not good for our goal. Okay, so if you want to use it for our goal, it needs to be with something that spreads sharpenel or something that spreads pallets. Because again, it was designed for something else, to kill people on the ground. Okay, so again, I was surprised to see this, but it doesn't like make my invention obsolete. It just it's something else, because if you want to shift in the position all this mass of, you know, if you have a lot of mass, then you have a lot of rotational not torque, like rotational momentum. So the momentum of something big like this will not be able to neutralize the threat in less than 1 second. Okay, mine is very light. It's just the weapon and the small, first of all, it's small and short, and second of all, it's very light. So it turns and shoots. If you have something heavy and big, then it turns and then it shoots. So by the time it turns and shoots, the enemy have killed us. Okay, so again, I don't think this replaces mine. I'm just telling you so that you know that I found out only after I invented this, that they have something similar to what we explained, but different. Okay. Of course, it's much more expensive, but that's not the point. The point is that it's not the same. It's not as effective. It's not effective for what we need. Okay, so another thing that I wanted to just to mention, if someone points their laser cornet missile at us, the enemy is pointing their laser. Israel has laser homing missile. It's called Lahat. Okay, Lahat. This is another topic. Okay, it's not the same. Lahat, laser homing missile. But again, and it's cost like $25,000. But again, it's not just the cost. Then this is one time, and then you are not protected against the next cornet. But it's not just that. It's that it's a bad idea because the bad guy has head start. Okay, he started before us, so he has a head start advantage over us. So he stands there and is shooting, and if it's like fire and forget, then he's already somewhere else. Okay, so when this targets him and fires, then he's no longer there. So of course, my system also suffers from the same thing if he moves. But my system is not 25,000 per shot. It's like almost nothing per shot. And if we shoot with the grenade launcher, then it doesn't matter, then he moved a little because he will be dead anyway. Okay, one more thing that I want to mention about the grenade launcher, because it sounds like maybe, why do we need the grenade launcher? The grenade, okay, this is something I forgot to mention. Why grenade launcher? Okay, the grenade gives us the advantage of spread shock waves. Okay, answer, spread shock waves. Okay, why is it good? To be honest, at first I thought we can even shoot one grenade, wait for it to, like, it still doesn't explode, then another grenade above it, and then this grenade explodes and gives this one a push. So I thought we can ride over a few grenades like this, but this is not very likely. Maybe it can be developed, but you need some computing power for this, but it be very accurate. But my system is not very accurate. It's like a heuristic. So this is like very, very realistic in this sense that you spread shock waves. Okay, the shock waves don't need any calculation. They just spread in the air. And when they hit the rocket, the tip of the rocket has a piezoelectric crystal. It's like if it feels the pressure, the push of the air or the side of the vehicle or a wall, then it pushes against it, closes a circuit, and detonates. Okay, so if you have shock waves, they can detonate it. Okay, if it's more sophisticated and it like recognizes that it's not a wall of a vehicle and it doesn't detonate but keeps on flying, still the grenade is very valuable because, again, because of the shock waves. Why? Because the way these rockets fly, what does it mean that they ride the laser? Okay, imagine like this is the laser. Okay, okay, so all this is the laser. I'm pointing it towards you, and this is the Cornet missile. So the Cornet missile flies like this. It flies here and here. It flies around and around the laser, and each time it corrects itself. It misses the laser, it corrects, it misses, it corrects. So it makes a spiral around the laser. But it's assuming that the air pressure is like normal air pressure, okay? So imagine that you have instead somewhere that is much more dense, okay? The density of the air is not the same as normal air. So suddenly, it's a shame that I broke it up. So suddenly the missile will hit this dense air and will swim or fly in a very sharp turn, okay, because it makes the same turn, the same correction, but it makes it in a medium that it's much more dense. Okay, it's like you are swimming instead of in water, you are swimming suddenly inside a non-Newtonian liquid. Okay, like it's like almost like a solid. So it's like you cannot move. So it's like the correction will be wrong. Okay, and it misses. It's no longer where it's like flying, reaches the dense part and breaks away to somewhere. It doesn't matter where. It's no longer in a correct medium for its calculations, and from here it cannot correct itself. It's like flying away. Okay, so this is the protection that the grenade gives us. So it's really, really important to shoot a few grenades, one after the other. We cannot predict the laser, like if we have a good measurement of where, how far, what is the distance to the laser, then great, and exactly where it was, when, in what time ago it was shot, and where exactly is this missile, then great. But usually we don't. So we need, in my chip system, so we need to make a few shots one after the other, which this is what the grenade launcher gives us. It's like a revolver, bang, 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 bang. And it gives us a way to make sure that wherever the missile is, it will hit one of our explosions or be close to one of our explosions that will push it away from its trajectory. Okay, so so that's it. I think I did everything. Again, RPG, you don't detect it with a laser. You detect it either by eyesight of a distant operator or by the smart algorithms of seeing a light getting bigger and bigger and bigger, seeing sound that is getting closer. Sound is not good because it doesn't travel fast enough. Sound travels a little faster than the RPG. It's not fast enough. So by the time you would calculate the sound, you would be dead. But light is almost, for us, it's almost immediate. It's the speed of light. Heat, I think, is the same. So again, RPG is harder, but the system is still good also against RPG. And against the original enemy, the one that killed 7 soldiers last week through the very expensive, or let's say, in spite of a very expensive system, then my system is supposed to work in a fraction of the price. So, and also it's very redundant. There is a lot of redundancy because even if you hit a few sensors, it would still work. And you cannot say it about the expensive systems. They also have much more, well, not much more, but if you shoot more than one against them, then it has to recharge. Okay, so it has this action of, you know, I don't know about the porcupine, but I'm saying this about the trophy system. It recharges. So again, mine doesn't need to recharge. It's just it's like an automatic weapon. It's almost immediate. Okay, so I think this is about it. The ultra narrow bandpass filter single band can be bought in photonicshop.co.uk. Yeah, I think we did everything. At least like the all the main parts. Okay, so I hope this saves lives, and I hope this is the way the IDF would work in the future, not just in Gaza tunnels, but in general, because obviously this is the way the army of the future would work, and I want us to be the winning army and not, God forbid, the losing army. So thank you very much, and goodbye. Thank you.